What's going on, YouTube? It's Color Mash Fair back from another video, and welcome back to Seahawks Talk, where I'm just going to talk about a few things today. Obviously, the second preseason game, the Hawks did lose, I think, 14-13 to the Chiefs. But there's also some good news. We are talking with a, elite offensive lineman from the Eagles. I'm pretty sure he was in the Pro Bowl last year, and he's been an All-Pro, I think, a couple times. But he would probably play, left tackle or left guard for us. That's, Wilson's blind side. We need to get that protected. But the game against the Chiefs wasn't great, but I mean, obviously Russell Wilson, Jimmy Graham connected 3 times out of 3 times. I think. Let's just see here. Yeah, he had like 40 yards receiving, or like 39, and then like it's been a pretty good preseason. That RJ Archer is getting a lot of playing time. 34 attempts throughout the preseason, 193 yards, 5.7 yards per attempt. His longest is 25 yards, and for the touchdown. Uh, a lot of guys are stepping up for us. But anyway, I saw a lot of good things. The defense obviously had the pick six, which was our only touchdown, which is kind of a bad thing, but like obviously we haven't even played Lynch yet. That's what people don't understand. They're like, oh, the Seahawks haven't scored. They didn't score against KC with their offense. We didn't play Lynch at all preseason yet. Like, he hasn't even taken a snap. He hasn't been on the field at all, which is, the main reason why we aren't doing as well, because he is the thing that holds our team together. Because like he's the heart and soul of this team, and without him, I couldn't imagine, them without Lynch. Like, cause he is this team. Him and Wilson, they just makes a dual threat. Plus Jimmy Graham. During the regular season, they're gonna just absolutely beast it out. You're not gonna know who to cover. You're not gonna know who's getting the ball. Cause Jimmy Graham, that big body, is pretty fast as well. And then you got the read option threat in the backfield, which is just deadly. Like they could have, a read option play where Russell keeps it, and then, everyone's biting on him, coming towards him, and Jimmy Graham slips out and, goes for a 80-yard touchdown or something. That's something that they can do now because they have that, big body that can go up and get those and, contest for those jump balls instead of, having Jermaine Kearse, or Doug Baldwin, who are all like 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1", uh, going up for those jump balls against like 6'3", 6'4" defensive backs. But just looking at some other stats, Thomas Rawls and Christine Michael, they both got a bunch of carries yesterday, or not yesterday, I think it was 3 days ago that the game happened. And obviously, like, we're doing really good in the defensive side of things. We have 9 sacks throughout the preseason. Uh, we're having decent time of possession. 27, you know, 28 minutes to our opponent's 32 minutes. Um, First downs is a problem though. We have 26 throughout the whole preseason. Our opponents have had 40. Obviously, the Legion of Boom isn't actually playing. They're all like getting like one drive and then their night's done. Because they're just trying to get those young guys in. But if Sherman gets injured, someone's gonna have to replace him, right? So we can't be having almost uh, half the first downs as our opponents, because that's just not gonna win us football games. Third down conversions were less than 50%, which kind of almost every team is. They're either 50 or just above or just below. Right now we're 11 for 28, so that's not really that well, but our opponents are 11 for 28 as well. Total offense, we have 408 yards to our opponents, 594 yards. We're not really the best offensive team, but what can you really do? Touchdowns, 3 for us, 3 for our opponents. One thing is we gave up 3 touchdowns passing throughout the whole preseason, which for those young guys, they're probably, the LOB's probably like, these guys giving up 3 touchdowns in 2 games. These guys suck. So, like, it's just little things like that that we need to fix, and then, we'll be back to our form of last season. But in other news, Earl Thomas returned to practice. He's in limited participation right now, and we are meeting with an elite offensive lineman. I forget what his name is. See if I can search it up here really quick. Can't really find it, but anyway, oh, yes. Former All-Pro Evan Mathis, I think his name is. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Yes, Evan Mathis. Just looking at his stats, he's a former third-round pick in 2005, ranked as the NFL's best guard according to Pro Football Focus, who ranks him at number 1 in 2011, 2012, and 2013. He would be a fantastic pickup for the struggling offensive line, but if we were having to sign him for around like $6 million, because his base salary last season was $5.5 million, they would have to cut a player. Considering the team pretty much has to restructure Cam Chance's contract before the season begins, because it looks like he is like certain that he wants more money, he needs more money, but which I don't really think is a good thing, because like, these guys, they make millions a year. I would be fine with $250K a year. If I make pro football, I will be like, give me a lower contract so that I take up less cap space so that we can keep this group of guys together to get more championships. That would be my mindset. Russell Wilson, not taking offers, and Cam Chance are not taking offers. Like, you guys make like what, like $10 million a year? What else do you want? There's people making less than $20,000 a year, and here you are making, complaining about $10 million a year. Like, get off of it, man. Like, Cam Chancellor needs to grow up. Like, I get where he's coming from. He's one of the best safeties in the league, but you don't need that kind of money. If all these things that are said are true about, like, the LOB, wants to stay together for their whole careers, they probably won't, because we can't afford to pay everyone $10 million a year and $20 million a year. We can't afford everyone to have 6 years, $100 million contracts, and then expect us to keep everyone. Bobby Wagner tweeted out, after Russell Wilson got signed, he's like, can't keep everyone, I guess. And, he agreed to a smaller contract because that's all they could afford. Because us having only $6 million in cap space, it's ridiculous. I think we used a lot of it on like 6 players. Like, Sherman, Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, Lynch, Jimmy Graham, Russell Wilson, those guys are taking up so much cap space because they're like, oh, we know we're the best, but we just need to show it with the money we get, which I think is really stupid. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, rating, thumbs up, or whatever you call that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.